So I'll do a little bit of similarity practice here, and the first problem, A, has a missing x and a missing y, so we have to find one at a time. And we know these triangles are similar because we have parallel lines which are labeled, so go ahead and draw this picture, pause the video and draw it so you can get a better idea, and go ahead and label everything that's labeled. We have vertical angles in the middle, so there's your first angle, and because the lines are parallel, we have alternate interior, and that's all you need is AA, so you know they're similar. You also know this one, but you didn't need all three. So once we know they're similar, we can say 10 is to 12, so this triangle is to this triangle, as y is to 10.8. And then you would cross multiply and solve for y, which you're going to do. And then you could use the same 10 over 12 again and do 6 over x. And cross multiply again and solve. Solve for x. Now question B, go ahead and draw this one. Again, we have parallel lines. Pause me anytime you need to stop and draw something. These two are parallel. And you can use side splitter when you're dealing with solving for y, because you're not dealing with anything on the bottom. We're not talking about this or this yet. So right now you could say 8 over 4 equals 10 over y. And you can solve for y using the side splitter theorem because you're only talking about the sides. Go ahead and solve for y. But you can't use side splitter when you're solving for x because you have the bottoms labeled. So in that case, you have to draw two triangles. The little one's right here, and it's 8, 10, 12. The big one is 12 on the side, 10 plus y on the side, not 10y, 10 plus y, and x on the bottom. But since you've already solved for y, you really could avoid some of that and just go 8 over 12, 12 over x. 8 over 12, a different 12 over x. These two 12s are not the same 12. One of them's here, one of them's here. So the first one, to solve for y in red, you can use the side splitter. The second one, because the bottoms are labeled, you have to redraw the triangles and pick corresponding parts. I went left over bottom, left over bottom. You solve it. And the only other thing I'll cover on this video is this similar right triangle problem where you have the small, the medium, and the large triangle. So I'm going to have you draw this chart. And remember, what this stands for is the small triangle, the medium triangle, and the large triangle. The small triangle is here, the medium triangle is here, and the large triangle is the big one on the outside. This stands for short leg, the longer leg, and the hypotenuse. So first, let's just solve for x. If you can. Can you solve for x? Okay, now notice the numbers I changed there. You're never going to be asked to do more than one variable in one problem. So I told you that the altitude there in the middle was 12, and I left the y. I got rid of the x and the z and whatever other letters were there. So this is your picture that we're going to work on here. Your first question is, what two triangles have two things labeled? This one has two things labeled, and this one has two things labeled. The large one only has one thing labeled, which would be 9 plus y. It has nothing else. So you have the small triangle and the medium triangle. The short leg of the small is 9. The long leg of the small is 12. The short leg of the medium is 12, but the long leg of the medium is y. There is your fraction right there. 9 over 12, 12 over y. Cross multiply. You have 9 times y equals 144. Divide by 9. You take it from there and solve for y. Sometimes you have an x squared or a y squared, sometimes you don't. Okay, so one more like that. Draw another chart just like I did. Pause the video so you have time to draw it. Small, medium, large, short leg, long leg, hypotenuse. And then also redraw that picture too, just like that. So again, pause if you need to, but I'm going to keep going here. Now, which two triangles have two things labeled? Well, I can see the small one has two things labeled. It has x and 9. And it looks like the medium does not. Medium, you could say that this is 16, 25 minus 9, but you still don't know this or this. So the medium's not going to help us. But the large triangle looks like it has a 25 and an x. So this one looks like it's going to be the small one and the large one. And when that happens, it's usually the four corners here, 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 and here. So let's see what we got. Small triangle has a short leg of 9 and a hypotenuse of x. The large red triangle that I outlined has a short leg of x and a hypotenuse of 25. So this looks just like the fraction. X squared equals this, whatever 25 times 9 is, and then you take it from there. So again, this is day 2, just a little bit each day, a little bit of similarity. Tomorrow we'll touch on some trig, some big trig problems maybe tomorrow, and come to the Regents with all these stapled together on Friday.